What's up, everyone? Welcome to the return of Around the Rings with Dave W. Yes, AEW's newest signing, Dave W. You could tell I'm rocking my AEW stuff. So my reasoning for wanting to do this is because obviously one of the biggest things going on in the wrestling world right now is AEW. In the month on the 8th, we had the uh, rally in Jacksonville where they announced a couple of signings and also they announced not just one event, but two. The first event we all now know is Double or Nothing, taking place at the Las Vegas MGM Grand Garden Arena, and a second event in Jacksonville at a later date. Double or Nothing will be taking place on May 25th. If you guys have listened to me on Kings of the Rings, you guys will know that I have already booked my stay. Uh, Finger crossed, hoping to get tickets. I believe just earlier this week they announced on February 8th, I believe, they're going to be doing a ticket release type of an announcement. But so AEW wrestling. If you guys have been living under a rock, then you know that the Young Bucks, Adam Page, Kenny Omega, but he's not officially signed yet. Yeah, Adam Page, the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes, they have all left New Japan officially, left Ring of Honor, and they are all elite. Were the first initial signings that were announced. On top of which we have Brandy Rhodes, who will be the chief brand officer, along with competing in the women's division. Now, these are all names that we've seen on being the Elite Series. Now, at the conference, they announced a couple more signings. Another signing to the women's division, Britt Baker. If you guys don't know who Britt Baker is, she's Adam Cole's girlfriend, but you probably know her better for being one of the four women to compete in the Fatal 4-Way match at All In. Extremely talented individual, and I'm very surprised with the signing. I actually thought that she was going to come to WWE since Adam Cole's here. But they also announced a couple of lesser known people. Joey Janela with Penelope Ford, MJF, and they also had an appearance from Pac, formerly known as Neville. I'm really surprised with all these names so far. Mind you, like this was their introductory conference and they have all these names, but those aren't the biggest names announced. The biggest name, Chris motherfucking Jericho. The fact that Chris Jericho signed is a huge plus for them. Huge plus. I've read that the contract they offered him was for 3 years, also with the stipulations that he's still allowed to compete in New Japan. Now, obviously, we know Wrestle Kingdom 13, he lost the IC championship to Naito, and he announced that he has intentions to go for the heavyweight championship now around the waist of Hiroshi Tanahashi. The biggest name that is currently in the mix with is he or isn't he is Kenny Omega. Now, a lot of people seem to think that Kenny Omega will make an appearance at this week's Royal Rumble. Kenny's contract doesn't end until the 31st. And the Young Bucks did it the best when people were asking them, is Kenny coming to the Rumble? Yes, Kenny told us to tell everyone that he's going to betray his contract, compete for another company, and be at the Rumble. If you guys think he's going to be at the Rumble, You're crazy. Would I like to see him in the Rumble and in WWE? Obviously, yes. I really would hope he goes to WWE, but it's really hard. Kenny's character is very largely based with a high creative input from himself. Now, unfortunately, it appears WWE is not willing to give him that amount of creative control. Obviously, success stories of New Japan to WWE, AJ Styles. Now, AJ Styles didn't directly make his name in New Japan, but New Japan added more legend to the lore of AJ Styles. Obviously, he competed in Ring of Honor. He competed in Impact Wrestling, formerly known as TNA. But AJ Styles is the only one thus far who has done the complete skip NXT to main roster success, two decently long championship reigns, etc., etc. Um, if you're asking me where I think Kenny's gonna go, it's AEW. His friends are there. He'll have more creative control, and theoretically, he could still go to WWE down the line. I'm not sure how long the contracts are that AEW has given out, but I want to say they're 3 to 5 years for the people in the elite. So they'll still have time on their clocks to go to WWE. The question is, will going this route have burned their bridges with potentially going to WWE? Obviously, we'll have to wait and see. Now, another member of the elite that we have yet to hear anything about is Marty Scurll, and that's because he's still contracted to Ring of Honor. I've heard multiple dates. I've heard after G1 Supercard, I've heard end of the year, etc., etc. And we also have just seen Ring of Honor give him his own faction with PCO and Brody King in Villain Enterprises. So I want to lean a little longer on the longer end of a year than just G1, mind you. This weekend's the Rumble, so we're just about to start February. So G1's in approximately 2 months. So I want to say his contract is longer. Now, one of the biggest difficulties being a wrestling fan is you get a lot of the fans that are, you can cheer for one or the other. I'm a huge fan of WWE. I'm a huge fan of New Japan. I'm a huge fan of AEW, and they haven't even had a show yet. Don't dislike one just because it's not the other. Like, if you're a wrestling fan, this is phenomenal for wrestling, because the implications of this having a billionaire, the owner of the Jaguars, the Khan family backing this is huge. And there are rumors of them potentially reaching out to Turner Media Group to have a TV deal. Obviously, it's going to be a while till we hear the whole thing about that. But if they do snag that deal, that's game changing. Nate the effing great. Sorry, I had to steal your gimmick for a second. Game changing, because we haven't, like, Impact has been hopping networks, and now it's on Pursuit / Twitch. Ring of Honor doesn't have a TV deal, but they sell their PPVs and they have their streaming service for their events, Honor Club. New Japan, I believe it has a Japanese TV deal, but it has kind of has the AXS deal, but you're not getting this stuff live. You're getting basically a couple weeks later, you're getting what's going on. Like, for example, I believe tonight might be part one of New Year's Dash, which is the event that New Japan holds after right the day after Wrestle Kingdom 13. So if they are able to get this deal, that's huge, because it'll be the first time that you have this potential war in place since WCW. Um, I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing what happens. And we're already starting to see on the Being the Elite series some character development for some of the other guys. Like we've seen MJF, obviously the continuing character development for the members of the Elite. Um, But really, a lot's going to pivot on what happens on January 31st, the day that Kenny Omega's contract is supposed to expire. So, I mean, for now, that's it. But like I said, I've already booked my stay for Double or Nothing. I'm very much planning to get a ticket. Same way, brother Rob, one of my close friends, said to me, like, I need to get into that building. Like, if we can't sit together, we can't sit together. But this is historical. Same way, I had the same reaction when Ring of Honor and New Japan had their announcement for the G1 Supercard. Like, it's going to be huge because MSG has been a WWE stronghold for years. So obviously we're still in the early stages of AEW, but we have seen some of the members of the Elite appear at other indie events. I've heard a bunch of different things. Maybe because they're not going to be gearing up for doing stuff till the latter part of the year, and they want to kind of like keep the buzz going. But I mean that's fine. Like stay relevant. Bring new eyes to the product. But right now, all eyes are in All Elite Wrestling, and there's rumors that JR is going to be doing commentary with them. Billy Gunn was announced as one of the talent agents and one of the first producers. So it's going to be a big, big deal. Now, this is only like a very short annotated show for the Patreons, but continue to check us out on the Patreon, subscribe to our Patreon. Check out our actual show at KOTR_podcast. We're on the Rant with Ant Network, Wrestle Addict Radio, where you can find Gift of Podcasts, Not Your Mama's Soap Opera, Smash This Podcast, and on the actual site, you get Rant with Ant. You get Who Got Next, and a show that was just recently born. The E stands for Elite with G-Rod and Anthony DeStefano. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what happens. But for now, that's enough from me. Goodbye, mwah, and good night, bang. Thank you for tuning in, and have a nice day.